So Duncan, it's showing we're live now. I don't, because we're not flipping between Facebook and otherwise. I can't really see our audience that we have on there. But welcome to our first Facebook Live stream interview that we're doing. Everybody, this is Duncan Bureau, a familiar face, obviously, to the Canadian travel industry. Duncan's coming to us live from Abu Dhabi. I love when Jerry Seinfeld did that commercial.
It is Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, live in Abu Dhabi, and Duncan's in his new role with Etihad Airways as SVP. Correct me if I'm wrong. SVP, Global Sales and Distribution. So welcome to our inaugural Facebook live stream with this great new platform that we've got, Duncan. Thanks for joining us today. How are you doing?
I'm great. Hey, listen, thanks for letting me be your first. Somehow I always seem to be your first, John.
That's
I don't know
true.
why that is.
That's
first
true.
in a cockpit,
Yeah.
first on Facebook Live, first in your car. I always seem to be your first. I don't know if other people just don't want to hang out with you or if you just sucker me into it. But
Yeah, it could
great
be that.
to be here.
It could be that. Well, actually, you were the first in the car interview too. That's true, wasn't it? That's very true. What's the vibe in Abu Dhabi? How's life over there? First of all, on a personal level, how are you doing? You enjoying your time there?
Yeah, it's great. You know what? It's a fantastic airline. The organization is extremely well managed. You know, we're very lucky to have a phenomenal shareholder. The executive team is extremely experienced. You know, we have one of the best products, if not the best product in the world. It's not a bad place to be.
Yeah, good. Well, you're looking good. You're looking healthy, I got to say. What's the vibe like in Abu Dhabi? Obviously, it's a very different culture than Canada. So, as far as the Middle East goes, what's the vibe like in the daily life of the citizens and the residents of Abu Dhabi?
Yeah, I guess you're talking about as it relates to this whole virus issue.
Yeah.
You know, you know, what we're obviously doing here is the government has made some quick decisions in terms of how they're managing and how they're going to manage the spread of the virus itself. And obviously everything from working on shutting the airlines down. We've obviously parked all of our aircraft now. And we continue to focus on, you know, doing what's right for the country and doing what's right for our employees and obviously all of our shareholders and passengers. So we're working extremely hard on that.
So how are you doing personally? Are you in a quarantine like the rest of the world, or where are you at?
Well, interestingly enough, I am currently in quarantine.
You are?
You know, one of our colleagues tested positive, so we're just trying to. I just had tests done, and I'm fairly comfortable. I'll test negative, but right now it's just a matter of sitting it out. And
you've been tested there.
Yeah, so I just got tested yesterday, and along with a couple of colleagues as well. And obviously, what we want to do is make sure that we don't expose anybody else. So I'm actually in quarantine. I'm sitting in my apartment, and I've set up a golf course here inside my apartment, and that's how I'm entertaining myself.
Yeah. Well, it's very cool for you to join us on here. We had a couple of days ago. We did a Facebook video posting, and we were talking specifically about chargebacks and refunds and the impact on the consumer, you know, because from a travel and tour operator perspective, aviation perspective, and with us in the media, obviously our number one concern and our number one driver in our business is the consumer. So there's a lot of controversy going on in the marketplace about how refunds are being dealt with and so on. So I guess in general terms, what's Etihad's position as it relates to refunds, chargebacks, travel vouchers, all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, so you know, currently, obviously, this is an incredible drain on the organization, on any organization, on any airline, on any travel provider. You know, it's like a run on a bank. where for most airlines around the world today, they actually have negative revenue, so they're refunding more than they're selling on a daily basis, and that's been going on for quite some time.
Yeah.
Probably the last 8-9 days. So just like any business, obviously it puts a ton of drain on the cash situation of the carriers. I think every carrier in the world to do what's right for the customer. The fact is we're trying to be as flexible as we can, while at the same time, we have fair rules in place, and you buy whatever fare rule, whatever ticket you purchase. All at Etihad, it's any refundable fare will get a refund. Today, our position is for non-refundable fares that we are offering a credit, and that credit is available up until the end of April in 2021. Obviously, these things evolve every single day, and every carrier is dealing with this differently. Every carrier has a different cash position. Every country has different rules around how these programs are managed. But look, the intent at the end of the day, Etihad will do what's right for the customer, and we're working extremely hard, and we're dealing with call volumes, in our call center 4 or 5 times the normal volume. So, and we're not unique. Every carrier is dealing with the same issue, and every carrier is doing the best they can to do what's right for the customer. Our current position is that fully refundable tickets will get a refund. Non-refundable tickets, we're offering a credit, and that credit is available to be reused or used up until the end of April 2021.
And so very, very, very specific. This is obviously governed by the rules and regs and the laws of Etihad out of their home base. Does the terms and conditions that you have associated with each individual fare have a force majeure clause associated with it? And if it does that force majeure clause been associated with this? And I know it's a fairly detailed question, but I'm just curious.
You know what? Yeah, so it's not an issue of force majeure. The fact of the matter is, we have been asked by the regulatory authorities, and quite rightly, that we put our airplanes on the ground. And that is for the safety of everybody, right? Our crews, our passengers, the country, we're a transit carrier, right? We carry a lot of people through Abu Dhabi. Onto other and into other countries. The fact of the matter is, some countries have imposed no entry and have canceled visas, and so it makes it extremely difficult to operate the airline. So we are in a position where we've been put on the ground for a number of reasons. I don't know that force majeure is really the issue. We have not taken that position. I think that many organizations can, and I'm sure some will. But certainly, any carrier or any company that is invoking force majeure in this situation would obviously have the protection of the courts. But that's not where we are. We are a going concern. We have a very strong brand. We have a very strong network. We have a very strong shareholder. And our intention is that we are going to come out of this thing. And we believe there's opportunity for us to have a stronger network as we come out. And we have an opportunity, and we will service all of our customers. And so I'm very confident of that.
So tell me, nobody has a crystal ball, obviously, because none of us have ever experienced anything like this. You spent the bulk of your career in Canada with the major carriers in the Canadian marketplace, so you've got depth of knowledge in Canada. So what do you think globally, how we're going to emerge from this? And I'm looking for a time frame, because that varies depending on who you speak to, between end of May, summer, July. It's all over the map. But how do you think, if you do have a time frame, then go ahead, knock yourself out. But if you don't, what do you think the world's going to look like from an aviation perspective globally in the next while? When we emerge from this, what do you think it's going to look like?
Look, I think that we are going to get through this. And I think if people act responsibly and follow the instructions of their departments of health in every country, if we stop the spread of this, and we're accountable and responsible to each other, that's probably the first place to start. And I think Etihad's position of putting airplanes on the ground was the right decision, because we believe that we don't want to be spreading and carrying infected passengers, and we don't want to infect our employees, who are incredibly important to us. So from that perspective, we think we're doing the right thing. Now, in terms of what the airline industry is going to look like as we come out of this, look, we're going to come out of this. I think that we started to map this against SARS. And so we started to look at the modeling of SARS and how did the industry recover from a SARS perspective.
Yeah.
And so we've kind of been looking at that and using that as a timeline. Are we right? Probably not. Are we wrong? Probably. But it's the best information we have at this point. So we've modeled a number of different scenarios of what happens and how the airline will come out of this, and what we think the booking curves will look like, what we think sort of the ramp up will look like. Obviously, the industry is going to look very different, and travel patterns are going to be slow to come back. I don't think anyone believes that this is going to be over in a couple of weeks, because it's not.
No, I know. Well, I appreciate you coming on. It's the first time we've used this split screen tool and application, particularly coming in from Abu Dhabi. So I appreciate the time. I see some comments coming up there. I don't have my glasses on, so I can't read them. I can't even jump in to comment on it. I really appreciate the time, Dunk. Stay healthy, and hope. Well, let us all know what happens with your test results. So thanks for joining us, Duncan. And we'll be back in touch. Appreciate your time this afternoon. Thanks very much.
All right. Well,
okay, buddy.
Thanks,
See you later.
Friend. I appreciate it. And hello to everybody in Canada. Take care.
Okay. Thanks, Doug. Bye.
All right, buddy.
All right. That was Duncan Bureau, everybody. Now I'm going to put my glasses on, and we're going to wrap up here. Thanks very much, and appreciate your continued support. Thank you.